swearing-in ceremony will now begin. All please be seated.
Good afternoon. Today our courtroom overflows with joy and excitement, as well as with very distinguished and very, very hearty guests. My colleagues and I welcome the Governor, Governor Cuomo, and each of you for an historic occasion made all the more so by Mother Nature, as Carmen Ciparick takes her oath of office, becoming the 102nd judge of the New York State Court of Appeals. What a wonderful day and a wonderful way for the court and all of us to begin a bright new year. This swearing-in is an historic occasion, as it has been for every single one of Judge Ciparick's predecessors on the Court of Appeals. Though this extraordinary institution has flourished for more than a century, there can be no question that throughout the years, each of the judges who has had the good fortune to be part of it has in some way lent an individual stamp and left an indelible imprint. Judge Hancock tells us how fortunate we are and how especially grateful we should be to you, Governor Cuomo, for now giving us a colleague who, like him in the America's Cup case, truly understands the difference between a monohull and a catamaran, and the significance of the formula for computing hull speed by taking the square root of twice the load waterline in feet. Obviously, I do not understand what that means. Somehow, though, I have the distinct sense that Judge Ciparick's contributions will go far beyond yacht racing, for her competence has been amply demonstrated both on land and at sea. In speaking of an historic occasion, I cannot resist mentioning first what is most obvious today and such a source of personal pleasure for me, that the number of women members of the state's highest court is now multiplied by 2. While we all yearn for a time when such events are no longer remarkable, indeed no longer even noticed, a day when genuine equality of opportunity has been accomplished throughout the justice system and throughout society, each step toward that elusive goal still deserves special note and special celebration. A glance at the portraits that decorate the walls of this courtroom affirm how much we have to celebrate today. Judge Ciparick and I both entered the legal profession in the 1960s, though I might say at different ends of that decade. A time when women law students were small in number. Women lawyers in New York City could have gathered around a few tables at Schraft's restaurant, and did. And the idea of women judges in double digits was a dim and distant dream. I read just the other day that women judges now number about 2,300 nationwide. And this week, the New York Law Journal on its front page headlines, "A Year of Firsts for Women and for Minorities," chronicling an entire year of breakthroughs within the legal profession, capped by today's ceremony and the promise of many more such celebrations ahead. What better example of justice can there be for society than the example of a judiciary, courts of law, marked by competence and enriched by diversity of background and experience? Important as this milestone is, it would demean the occasion and its participants were I not to place above all else Judge Ciparick's demonstrated excellence as a lawyer and judge, beginning with her graduation from St. John's Law School, her association with the Legal Aid Society representing indigent clients, and her affiliation with the state court system culminating in her exemplary service as a trial judge for more than 15 years. Throughout life, Judge Ciparick has distinguished herself in every single one of her roles, whether as a lawyer or judge or teacher of high school social studies with the New York Public School System, or member of the chorus singing Gilbert and Sullivan with the Village Light Opera Group. Judge Ciparick will readily tell you that whatever her professional successes, the real music in her life is her family. And my colleagues and I are delighted to welcome and congratulate them today. Her husband, Joseph Ciparick, a teacher of chemistry and physics at the Martin Luther King High School in Manhattan. Their daughter, Roseanne, a sophomore and voice major at Northwestern University, I might say with her mother's infectious smile. Judge Ciparick's father, Eduardo Beauchamp, recently retired after a long and distinguished career with the federal government. Her sister, Myrna Beauchamp Conley, and her daughter's godparents, Nat Comas and Roma and Bob Grove. I now call upon Judge Ciparick for the administration of the oath of office. Judge Ciparick, would you place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Carmen Beauchamp Ciparick, do solemnly swear
I, Carmen Beauchamp Ciparick, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the
duties of the office of Associate Judge of the Court of Appeals according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
So help me God.
I would next like to call upon Governor Mario Cuomo, who honors us by his 11th appointment to this court and by his presence among us today.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge Kaye, the distinguished members of the court, ladies and gentlemen. The honor is one that you have extended to me, Chief Judge Kaye, by your brilliant performance as Chief Judge and by proving, as you all have, all of you appointees of the Court of Appeals, what wonderful things happen when the governor makes choices purely on the merits. Now let's analyze what has occurred here. For 11 years, I have used only the traditional criteria: objectivity, competence, experience, integrity, character, with all other concerns being only secondary. And look at fortuitously what occurred by coincidence. The first two women in more than 200 years, the first two blacks in more than 200 years for a full term, and 3 St. John's appointees. We are... It is wonderful, the accomplishments of pure objectivity. It is a calculation I never made in the early days, but in all candor, it is a great delight to be here again. It is a very high privilege. I've said this before, I will repeat it every opportunity I have, that with all the chances I've had to do things that are significant and worthwhile over the last 11 years, I doubt that any opportunity was seized more firmly or executed better than the selection of the judges of the Court of Appeals. That didn't require an awful lot of talent on my part. The selection procedure has worked out better than I thought it would. I have always been given wonderful choices, and it was the luxury of being able to select from many good choices. But the choices I made have worked out in such a way so that this court is now clearly the superior high court in the United States of America. That's something every New Yorker should be proud of. Carmen Ciparick fits perfectly the pattern of appointments we've made until now. Indeed, and in all seriousness, what qualifies her for this bench is her experience, her capacity for hard work, her capacity for collegiality, her ability to analyze and to articulate the way a good and great judge should be able to. The fact that she is a woman is of significance, but only after it is established that she deserves this position on the merits of her classical characteristics and credentials. I will say this about the judge. She has not been in the Court of Appeals before. She's not had the opportunity to sit here or in the appellate division. She has, however, been a judge for 15 years. It is clear that she is going to have to go through a period of adjustment before she's perfectly comfortable here. I think I reveal no great confidence if I share just one comment she made to me on the way in. This is what Judge Carmen Ciparick said to me just before we entered the room. You think it's all right that I left the purse in the closet? With all my heart, Carmen, I tell you this. If there's a place in America where you want to leave your purse in a closet, it's the court. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Governor. That closet, by the way, was the robing room, was it not?
Yes, indeed.
We will next hear from Judge Ciparick.
Governor Cuomo, Judge Kay, my most distinguished colleagues on the Court of Appeals, and my most distinguished colleagues in the audience, and Judge Cook, Judge Sykes, Judge Mangano, Dean Hassel. Friends who've traveled great distances in very bad weather to be here, I welcome you to Albany in the wintertime. I would like to begin by introducing the members of my family who are here today. My husband, Joseph Ciparick, our delightful daughter, Roseanne, sophomore at Northwestern University. They want to thank you, Governor, for making this Christmas a very special one. My father, Eduardo Beauchamp, and my sister, Myrna Connolly, my cousin, Nat Gomas, Roseanne's godmother, Roma Grove, her husband, Bob Grove. Would also like you to meet my staff, Lenore Zarin, my principal law clerk, Christine Carroll, I don't know where she is, but somewhere, there she is, my secretary, and I've just named Antonio Galvao as my second law clerk. Is he here? Antonio Galvao from Central Staff. Okay. And thank you so very much, Judge Kay, for opening the courthouse to all my friends. My husband recently remarked that this event would be very much like Andrew Jackson's inauguration. Busloads of people camping out on the grounds. Well, we certainly are making history here today. And this must be truly the most important and significant day of my life. Now, many of you know that my story began in a modest neighborhood in Upper Manhattan, the youngest daughter of Puerto Rican parents. My father, a civil servant, a U.S. government clerk, my mother, a housewife, and my older sister, 12 years my senior. I attended... I'm sorry, Myrna. I attended parochial schools in my early years, ultimately graduating from George Washington High School and going on to the then tuition-free Hunter College. To support my dream, I attended the evening division of St. John's and taught in a junior high school in central Harlem by day. The days were long, but very fulfilling. And to this day, I remain in touch with some of my students, whose lives, hopefully, I influenced in some small way and made better. Upon graduation, I began working for Legal Aid Society in the South Bronx in a predominantly Spanish-speaking neighborhood, and was able to apply my newly acquired lawyering skills to the problems that beset my most disadvantaged clients. At first, they were suspicious. They were not accustomed to women lawyers, much less women lawyers who spoke Spanish. And I was often mistaken for a secretary or an interpreter. But the trust grew, and soon more women and more Spanish-speaking attorneys joined our small staff. Several years passed, and I had the unique opportunity of joining the court system as an employee in counsel's office of the then Judicial Conference of the State of New York. I think Mike McEnany hired me. I replaced a woman, the only woman who had ever worked in that office. Those days, one at a time was considered adequate. I remained in the court system in various positions as a non-judicial employee for close to 10 years, and often wondered, while rendering bench assistance to judges, could I ever become a judge? Was a career in the judiciary within my realm of expectation? Why not? I pursued the process, and in 1978 was appointed by Mayor Koch to the criminal court of the city of New York, the first Puerto Rican women on the bench in our state. I was making history, paving the road for others to come behind me. And in 1982, another historic event occurred. I was elected to our state Supreme Court from Manhattan. My dream had become a reality. My hard work had been rewarded. While pursuing my career, I had married Joseph Ciparick, a former Jesuit priest, a scholar, an intellectual, and we had our daughter, Roseanne. Our home is filled with books and music, an upright piano that has served us well, and to this day serves as accompaniment for our daughter, the voice major. She has grown up in an environment that has fostered her independence and individuality. And she is very proud of her mom today, as I am so very proud of her. Do you know that she was bumped out of a class because she's not back at school today? Judge Kay, I'm going to ask you for a note. Governor, maybe I'll ask you for a note. Well, she's here. After 16 years of successful judicial experience as a trial judge, I begin a new life today as a judge of this most wonderful and respected Court of Appeals. As I walked through that door for the first time today, I realized the significance of this appointment. A friend recently, while commenting on my nomination, said, "Carmen, by your life and career, you have fulfilled all of our collective dreams." I was quite moved by his remarks. I knew I had dreams of promotion and success. I was not aware that so many people had these dreams for me. When Judge Kay was sworn in as Chief Judge last year, Governor Cuomo, you said that this is the beginning of a new era. It certainly is, and you can be proud of that. That within a very short period of time, you've named, and the Senate has confirmed, the court's second African American, the first woman Chief Judge, and now the court's first Latino member and its second woman. We know that women certainly are in the majority. We also know that by the year 2000, Latinos will comprise the largest minority group in our nation. At the same time, we read the daily tabloids and find our institutions under attack, our families, our schools, and our courts. The finding reached several years ago by the New York State Judicial Commission on Minorities that there are two justice systems at work in the courts, one for whites and a very different one for minorities and the poor, seems to be playing out, unfortunately. I see Lou Douglas in the audience, the chair of that commission. What can we do as lawyers, as judges, as citizens to turn the tide, to restore faith in our revered institutions? Well, one way, certainly, would be to ensure that our judiciary reflects its constituents. It is tragic when the judicial branch of government, created with the purpose of protecting people from government intrusion, and for redressing private wrongs remains so suspect and irreproachable to so many. I would be the first to pay tribute to the men and women in this room who daily labor in the courts and who deserve to have the faith and trust of the community. But the message has apparently not gotten out that we are there for them. Maybe if the message was in Spanish or Russian or Chinese, maybe if the message came from a bench and bar that truly reflected the diversity of our society and was truly inclusive, perhaps then we would regain the trust and faith of the people we serve. It is certainly worth a try. I believe we have in this room a unique group of lawyers and judges, women and men, Latinos and others, who share this commitment. Hopefully, together, we can strengthen and revitalize our institutions and society as a whole, utilizing the talents and sensitivity of our entire New York community. Thank you, Governor Cuomo, for recognizing that the judiciary should reflect the whole community, including the community of women and the Latino community. Thank you for giving us our place at the judicial table. In conclusion, it's always dangerous to name names, but several people deserve most honorable mention. First, to the members of the legislature who took time to talk to me and help me through this process, the Hispanic delegation. I see some of you here. I see Assemblyman Del Toro. I saw him walk in. I don't see Assemblyman Rivera. I'm sure he's here somewhere. He's here. Oh, there he is. Okay. The senators. I see Senator Markey, and I see some of the other senators. My senator, Senator Santiago, and my Senator Roy Goodman. I don't know where he is. I don't see him. My county leader, Teddy Farrell. Thank you again. And the members of the governor's staff, his counsel Elizabeth Moore, and her assistant Joanne Jenkins, you were wonderful, wherever you are. But lastly, and truly, without the help, guidance, instruction, hard work of two close friends, Evan Davis, Antonio Burgos, I don't know if he made it, he called me earlier this morning, he was on his way. This would never have happened. Thank you, Evan, for everything, for all your help and guidance. And thank you, Tony, wherever you are. He's on his way. He said he'd be here for the State of the State if he didn't make it for my I will be eternally grateful. Thank you for placing your trust and confidence in me. I will not let you down, Evan. Told it's time to party. Dean Hassel and Assistant Dean Murphy of St. John's Law School are hosting a reception at the State Bar immediately following these proceedings. We certainly appreciate, my family certainly appreciates your generosity and goodwill, Dean. And I understand everyone's invited, even if they're not a St. John's alum. Is that correct? Just wanted to make sure. Thank you all, my close friends. I just can't start naming all of you. I look forward to greeting you at the party. Thank you for coming and sharing this wonderful day with me and my family. Thank you very much. Our new Attorney General, Oliver Capel. Good luck to you. You were confirmed the same day. His went a lot easier than mine did.
As long as we're all standing, I might thank Judge Ciparick for creating this ceremony and the governor as well, and the lieutenant governor, and for so magnificently bringing it to a close. I hope you'll all linger in this nice, warm, comfortable courtroom for a few moments so that we might shake your hands and say hello and greet you individually before adjourning to the party. The proceedings are closed.